Technologies ITC lecturer in Newsdot High School. Then we'll have a panel, MOPSI, Minister of Higher Education, and of course, the University of the Gambia. We have the Supreme Islamic Council. Those are the panels that are going to happen. And then right after we have the question and answer session, and there we'll also have exhibition, pitching and networking. All then prayers and lunch will take place. And then the session would continue. It appears going to be a long day event, so I think I will just leave the rest, so that you'll be waiting. Lamwe held next and all that, so that also will be interesting. So, of course, with us here is Ms. Mengelo. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. She is the Vice President of the Itag, representing the President apparently. So, Ms. Lowe, thank you very much for joining us, and welcome. We allow you to say hi to our viewers.
Thank you very much to the Eyeafrica TV crew, you guys, and those that are watching. I want to formally welcome you to the 3rd edition of the ICT Expo, which is one of the arguably the biggest tech gathering in the country, because we felt the need to really shine a spotlight on some of the innovations that are happening within the sector. There's not much that is done in terms like something like this, where we center, when you look at the room today, we have cloud service providers, we have ISPs, which are internet service providers, software engineers, we have software companies, we have people that are, within the machine learning and AI. And when you look at the theme this year is digital transformation in the Gambia, emerging technologies. We wanted to center this conversation so that Gambia doesn't keep lagging behind in terms of disruptive technologies.
Absolutely. And talking about, I will interrupt here because we'll get to that in a moment. I want us to, discuss more on that, the team, especially, the innovation sector and the IC industry and all that. But I was lucky to witness the 1st edition, the 2nd edition, and this is the 3rd edition, right? And usually, it used to be very lively, interactive, and networking here and there. I know the people are still coming. It's too early for some, I know. But then tell us, what are we to expect this year?
I would want to say we expect the same level of excitement, the same level of connection and networking, because that is our goal, really. As an association, we figured out, okay, we can go and sit in our offices and try to help and work from there. But most of the people within the space don't get the chance to really find a hub where they can connect with other like-minded individuals. And so opportunities like this are very, very rare, and we're hoping to have a very lively session. We want to have strong, heated, and relevant conversations and debates, and also platform these topics so that people that are attending this expo have the unique opportunity to ask these questions to the relevant stakeholders. Most of, especially this year, we did for the first time invite students across the country, so we have participation all the way in URR. So these folks usually are marginalized communities that don't get the chance to meet these relevant stakeholders. They don't get to know what is happening within the innovative space. Today marks a unique opportunity for all of those people to participate in the conversation, so that we move with the mantra of not leaving anybody behind. So ask relevant questions, walk around, ask what the exhibitors are doing. When you go to them, I'm sure they have flyers and business cards. Pick them up, because partnerships and connections and networking is really what moves industries. And that's what we hope that will be the takeaway for today's event.
Fantastic. And that will, of course, signifies that you also prioritize decentralization, as many would say. That's quite very, very important as well. But like I said, the past editions has happened, and we are in the 3rd edition this year. You have already tell us what we could expect this year. But looking back, the journey from the 1st edition to this year, if you should tell us how has it been like? Tough challenge for you to organize an event like such. How has it been like?
Of course, as you can see, we're a very, very small team. People that work, that are within Itag, and majority of us, especially the ExCom, is voluntary role. So we're a very, very small team trying to do big things, and so those doesn't come without its own challenges. So we do have, challenges in terms of like human resource to help us like do something like this, because we want to execute with excellence, irrespective of how small the team is. So There's so much time and energy that goes into making sure that exhibitors are done and, spotlighted their companies the right way and, have a conducive space that we can steer these conversations. Also, in Gambia, it's very difficult. You drop a letter before you get a response for people to come.
Support.
Support. So we, as an association, we are, representing the voice of the ICT community, and really what we hope to happen continuously is really support from the sector that we're trying to serve. So for us, those have been some of the challenges.
So despite you've been consistent in organizing this event, it has not been easy, as many might have think. You struggle sometimes to get finances to organize such an event? You want to tell me?
Absolutely do. If you know anybody, please refer us. But yes, we do have our partners. I mean, when you look at the banners outside, we do have consistent partners that show up for us. And one of those first people for me is really the exhibitors, those that come and are present the entire day. And then you have people that champion behind the scenes. I mean, this year we have the likes of Pura, AfriCell, and so much more that are coming on board to continue supporting. But we, of course, like the Wolof would say, "Lu fas daw daw nañ ko yokk ay yar." Wow. So ñi ngi ñaan, because we hope that this becomes a regional event. Honestly, because Gambia is a very, very small market. For tech, you build local, but you think global. So we want the ICT Expo to get to a level where we have participants around the world that come here, that flock to Gambia to see the innovation that is happening here and consume it, so that we don't become consumers, but we also become part of the players within this sector. So that is the goal for the ICT Expo. It's still in its baby stages. I mean, 3 years is long, but not really, if you think about the goal that we have in mind. But consistency, we think, will be the goal, will set us in the right footing to be able to get there.
All right. We will definitely talk about the future, of course, the target, if you like, for Itag, because I think you were part of the newly elected executive during the May's election that were conducted. Now, let's look at the team as you try as you alluded earlier on, the team for this year's event, digital transformation in the Gambia. Tell us about that, because if you talk about technology in this country, it goes with, not without saying, with a lot of challenges in some quarters. And emerging technologies and innovation. Why the team? Why such a team this year?
It was a theme that we had to go back and forth, really. But we centered it on emerging technologies and innovation because it's the relevant conversation today. The way that we know work and the way that we know tech is changing drastically right in front of our faces. And we saw as a community, but also as an association, that these conversations are not happening. ChatGPT has changed the way education is done, globally. Like, now you have to integrate artificial intelligence, thinking about these kids have access to these things, and they're bringing it into the classrooms. How does the teachers utilize that? How are we getting ready in terms of policies and regulations to make sure that we have it in place, so that when these emerging technologies are being developed by our own people, that they already have the conducive, environment to thrive and have the adoption rate. And these are like I said, Internet of Things, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and blockchain. So these are conversations that we are not having, but in the global landscape of tech.
And why do you think we are not having such conversation? Does this has to do by what many people believe, that Gambians are not literally good in innovations or inventing new things. We are only good in top and all. Limbe nge def rek sa morom lol lay hol def. But not you thinking something new, try to be inventive and create something. Then that in a way can create new things for people to do or to follow. But why is it that difficult to provoke discussions of that nature?
I think, as somebody who is an executive member of Itag, I have a front row seat to some of these new innovations that are coming within the space. So I would like to differ. I think we are very innovative people, and people that are exhibiting in the room are a clear manifestation of that. That our people are innovative. But you have to have the foundations laid and a conducive environment for people to even know about the innovation, but for them to thrive, to be able to play, have that global competitiveness to play in the global markets. And that's where setting up the foundational blocks are important. Innovation cannot go without steady and reliable internet connectivity and affordable internet connectivity. And innovation cannot happen without reliable electricity and affordable electricity. Innovation cannot happen without having the right laws and regulations in place that guides the development, the creation, the distribution, and the management of innovation. So these things are necessary foundational blocks for any market to thrive. And these are the conversations that we hope to have today, because we believe that there are innovations happening. I personally have a sentiment that when you are in the tech industry in Gambia, it's truly out of passion, because it's one of the most difficult sectors to build and grow and expand. It's really, really difficult, because some of this, like I said, I mean, if you're running a tech firm today, you are forced to have solar and additional generator and batteries and all of that, because if you don't have it, you can't compete. So these folks that are here, I genuinely believe they are part of people that are forcing the landscape to change and to move.
And
so
that is the challenges, and of course we certainly will explore in that area as well. And as much as you have been trying as an association to break the barriers to a certain level, to make sure that you inspire others to come into the system or the industry, the tech sector, like you say, in the Gambia face numerous challenges like you have just highlighted, and we'll get to that. In a moment I will allow my colleague Mam ngeen duga ci wolof bi tamit ñu yaatal parce que dañ ko jaxas baxas. That is our format anyway, pour ñëpp xëj si and everybody understand lu ñoo wax and all that. But just before you shift, one thing also I wanted to ask relating to this year's event, more of course you talk about internet, these are challenges and all that, the cost, energy and all that. So, and just recently ñu ngi wax ne and Gambia is among the I think the 9th most of course among the expensive internet, high cost of internet country. So lolu mu nekk something else. But like I said, hence we will talk about the challenges. Bobu dana ko baye ba ci kanam. Just allow Ma'am to get on with you, and then ñu yaatal tamit affaire yi. Ma'am ma baye la ak mom rek ngeen doxal ba ci kanam ñu gëna waxtaan li nga xamantene
jërëjëf Amadou amna solo fi ñuy waxtaane rek mooy mu ngi koy wax léegi moom waaye xam nga wax naa ko ne tur bi moom xam naa ne wala man ma teg ko ci suuf rek
bàyyi ko noonu ci suuf rek
acca amul problème kon nañ waaw acca léegi dañuy waxtaan fu am solo Menge comme ni nga ko waxee team bi mooy topicu ren li ngeen jël pour mu war a doon waxtaan bi boo ni ko doon tënkal ci ki toog këram fële wax nga ko léegi ren yaatal ngeen ba jëlee ay student ñu jógee fu nekk ci biir réew mi ñu bari liñ jàpp rek mooy bu ñuy waxtaanee wàllu internet wàllu IT technology ak lu jëm ci loolu Greater Banjul bi ñooy ëpp di ak by benefitos because benn tey boo demee Bansang man fi ma jógee courant bi problème la pour nga jàpp ne reliability dina am pour nit ki mu mun a focus ci internet ba mu mun a nekk ay use pour moom tey boo doon wax ci team bi nga xam ne mooy topicu ren bi lan nga ci mën a tënkal ñi nga xam ne noonuy seetaan
jërëjëf Baye tur bi moom nañ ko bàyyi noonu
waaw nangul naa la ko amul problème
tur bi moom nañ ko bàyyi noonu di dalal suñ mbokk yi ñuy seetaan di leen wax ne ñun Itag moo nekk buntu bi nga xamante ne nii ñun ñoo fi nekkal kàddu secteur bi soo déggee technologie moo nekk lépp li nga xamante ne nii mooy yombal ak yaatal jokkalante that's the best way I can say it
of course
ma ko xelaatee parce que soo déggee technologie soo ko xoolee ba ci biir jokkalante la ak yaatal soo gisee tey ñu nga mën a use sa téléphone pour nga mën a call ki nga xamante ni sa doom bu nekkoon Amérique amoon na ay at da ngay bind lettre mu dugg si féeri dem def ay gaal bala muy àgg léegi sa kër ngay toog sa jàng lu munti tuuti di nga mën a bës sa WhatsApp nga def sa voice note mu àgg si sa famille fu munti nekk si àdduna bi loolu li ko waral ak li tax mu yomb tey technology la so tey nag ñuy waxtaanee as Itag ñi nga xamante ne ñun ñoo nekk ñu ngi ko ooyee mouthpiece mu nekk ñi nga xamante ne ñoo amee kàddu secteur bi.
mbootaay bi nga xam ne seen taxawaay association buñ ko waxee rek mooy taxaw pour xeex ngir ñaxtu ngir dooleel dara ñu ñàkk kàddu ngeen jox leen kàddu pour ñoom ñu mun a jotee.
waaw kay so ñun nag loolu mooy suñu liggéey tey nag ñu jël suñ thème bi nga xamante ne ñu tënk ko ci naka lañ ko wooyee yaatal jokkalante but si bépp fànn of society because soo déggee digital transformation du rek gouvernement ñoo nga xamante ñoo war a make sure ne seen système si ñëpp di waxtaan parce que soo gisee tey soo demee place nga taxaw fa rang ba soona suba soo demee si beneen lopitaan di same information ba nga bàyyoon fële leen lay laajtewaat fii ñaaka déggoo bi la ak ñaaka waxtaanoo bi la si seen système si so digital transformation mooy ne ni jël niñ daan liggéeyee before xam ne àdduna soppeeku na léegi ñu aat si technology su ko defee ñu yombal dundin bi yokk ami réew mi jox xale yi dooleel leen ñu mun si am liggéey ñi nga xamante ne ñu mun see yokk seen jàng pour yokku sa taxawaay si réew mi yow tam su ko defee nga mun a gis sa bopp parce que luñ gëm moo nekk ne fu mu nekk ni su fekkee ne amoo benn xam-xam si wàllum technology yow dafa mel ni society nekkul di la set up for success nekkul di la set up pour nga mun a amee sa bopp suba parce que société bi li moo demee léegi da ngay gis ne soo amut technology background di nga dem ba si kanam du demati.
ok fi nga waxee noonu mu am solo tey ñu bëri ñi toog seen kër yi tey di ñu seetaan mun na noo jàppee ci seen xalaat ak gis-gis ne démb rek maa ngi wax ak benn kilifa mu may wax ne jamono fu mu toll xanaa suma maas gi jàngul waaye tey dem na ba yegg fu nga xam ne daanaka sàcc sax dina jeexati ma ne ko lu ko waral mu ne ma ndax wàllu technology ak internet fi mu toll mu ne da ngay gis ne tey am na ñu nga xam ne exemple Sénégal as a neighboring country dañ create an idea or initiative bu nga xam ne nag yi mala yi sax dañ leen a tàkk boo sàccee benn fu nit nekk dinañ ko mën a xam exactly ñiy wax ci yooyu waaye ñoom ñu ngi jàpp ne des vulnerable wala bokkuñ ci ñi nga xam ne mun nañoo am access to loolu because of level of education am wala suma yaay mi toog fële wax nga ko léegi understand nañ ne WhatsApp kuñ ko ubbil mun ngaa toog fale nga send message ngay jokkalante ak ku nga xam ne mu ngi fu nekk ci àdduna bi waaye tey yéen ngeen jàpp ne ñëpp dañ ci war a bokk naka ak xalaat yi nga xam ne jàpp ngeen ne moo war a tege ci table bi ci association bi wala nguur gi wala taxawaay buy tax ku nekk ci biir réew mi du rek yem ci ne nekk ci WhatsApp bi di saagante nekk Facebook di xasante nekk TikTok di saaga nit mooy doon njëriñ bi waaye dafa war a doon njëriñ bu nga xam ne nit mun na ci am xëy nit mun na ci am koom-koom nit mun na ci gis boppam ba mu doon lu nga xam ne lu ko mën a jural koom-koom lay doon.
ñun nag soo gisee tey soo ko xoolee si programme agenda bi da ngaa gis ne suñu first panel bu ñoo am après introduction si speech si mooy embedding technology si education system bi because ñun yaakaar nañ ne pour xeex lii si jox nit ñi xam-xam dooleel leen rek nga ko mën a defee te dooleel bi nekkul rek dem ba ci kaw ba ci suuf ci xale yi si xale yi ngay doolee waaw parce que soo gisee mag nekk kilifa toog si internet bi di saaga doomi jàmbur ñun dama ko jàppee ñàkk xam-xam la rek ñàkk xam-xam la parce que internet bi nga toog yow di saaga keneen waaye nga ci def dundam
keneen mu ngi koy
jëriñoo amee si njabootam am ci këram am ci business am
waaye mu jafee nag ci biir réew mi soxna si comme wax nga ko léegi tey boo xoolee ñun nu ñuy usee WhatsApp nu ñuy usee TikTok nu ñuy usee li nga xam ne mooy all other social media platforms yi daanaka soo demee ci réew yi nga xam ne ñoo ci am koom-koom sax usee wuñ ko noonu waaye nit mënu ko jëriñoo fii ci biir réew mi
lu ma wax rek ñàkk a xam-xam bi la rek ñàkk a xam-xam parce que nit ki soo ko doolelee ak information bi mu soxla xam ne lii su ma ko utiliser a specific way dinaa si mën a gis suma boppa understand nga daf dee tax borom change mindset am
léegi yéen nan ngeen bëgg a def ba gis ne loolu
ci taxawaay boobu ak diiru ñett at yi ngeen nekk di doxal
ñun fu mu nekk nii dañ bëgg a technology nekk loo xamante ne nii dañ ko boole si jàng bi nekkul daf la neex rek dama am IT class si site bi wala sa waajur am na extra 5000 bu mu la fayal pour nga dem si beneen institution soo jeexalee school pour def ko déedéet fu mu nekk nii technology nekkatut lu tubaab di wax privilège it's not just a privilege, it's a right.
dafa war a nekk wareef
dafa nekk wareef bépp doomu aadama pour nga xam parce que ndax neex na la ndax neexul la yow whether yaa ngi ko utilize wala utilize la yow sa information dina fa nekk parce que Gambia tey sa birth certificate bi léegi gis nga ne ministry bi digitalize nañ ko so yow ndax yaa ngi utilize technology wala utilize loo ko yow sa information bi is already somewhere embedded in technology right so su ko defee léegi ñu jël waxtaan yi nga xamante ne moom lañ nar a am fii tey pour ñi nga xamante ne ñoom ñoo amee si ñoo nekk si buntu yooyu noonu te soo gisee tey panel bi sax dama si am mbégte parce que naka lañ ko ooyee Supreme Islamic Council dañ leen ci boole.
te ñoo yore wàllu diine
ñoo amee wàllu jàng diine.
exact ñoom dañ leen di wane ne sax ñoom ñu warut a bokk sax ci jubluwaayu doxalin yooyu ndax ñaawteef ya fay nekk. tey soo demee ci imam yu bëri pour ñu jokkale seen kaddu mu yeggee ci ñu bëri. war nañoo mën a use opportunity platforms yi nga wax noonu mooy internet. waaye most of them soo demee dañ la ñemewuma dugg foofu sax. because ñaawteef ya fa nekk xasante bi saagante bi te nga ma jàpp ne comme ni nga ko waxee léegi tey imam bu nga xam ne tey mu ngi jàngale doon toog ci benn minbar rek di xutba bu amee opportunité bu nga xam ne bu toogee tey ci Eyeafrica TV wax aduna bi fu nit nekk dégg ko te internet bokk na ci lu yombal loola ak taxawaay boobu commencé ngeen ci diine kilifa yi ak wayjur yi nga doore ko rek ci ni nga ne ñun ñëpp dañ ci am yëg-yëg bi ma ko gisee ci itinéraire bi ma ne ok boole ci ñu mel nii dina tax mu yaatu be ki jàppoon ne moom de dafa war a wàññi boppam ci wàllu internet wala ci wàllu xam-xamu IT ngir jàppane ne nit ñi fay dugg ndaw ñi lañ xale yi ñu amul yitte ak place bu ñuy defee ñaawteef la bu gisee tey imam wala Supreme Islamic Council body bi yore wàllu diine ci biir réew mi ban motivation ak idea bi tax ngeen indi loolu pour war a inspire public bi pour ñu xam loolu.
dégg la so da ngaa gis ne buñ ko xoolee conventional school system da ngaa gis ne ñi nga xamante ne ñoo nekk si Greater Banjul bi Banjul ak Brikama Bruce bi ñun school si bari am nañ computer lab léegi waaye ñaata madarasa ngay duga tey nga fekk fa computer lab xale yi ñu ngi ci basang suñ leen jàngalee seen Quran ba pare xëj na luñ ciy teg ay hadis ak yooyu la moo nekk rek su pare dem xale boobu noonu léegi su demee ba tafsir ba wàcc léegi moom naka la nar a amee boppam
more independent
naka la ma war a amee boppam si society bi nga xamante ni is already digitized yaa ngi gis su ko defee ñu ne war a ceeñ ñun naka la ñoo xelaate ak naka la ñoo gisee jàng because xale bi tey su feebaree war naa mun a am lesson sami si tablette si kër bi wala si mobile phone yaayam bi si kër gi war na koo mun a am warut a miss jàng parce que mu ne mënut a dem si classroom bi yow war ngaa mun a toog sa kër boo mënutee dem tey liggéey nga mun a liggéey ci kër gi fu nekk léegi si nekk foo dem si àdduna bi léegi hybrid model moo fa nekk am na office yu bari dañ downsize ñu amoon ay building léegi dañ downsize parce que dañ xool ne ñu fa daan dajale yëpp di fay courant nga ndox ak jox leen lu ñoo lekk fay leen paas ak yëpp soxlaatuñ leen nekkul ne dañ ñàkk seen liggéey waaye am na ñi nga xamante ne ñoom la ñu woowee front facing professionals ñi nga xamante ne soo duggee si bureau ñoom nga faa fekk am na ñi nga xamante ne soxlawuñ pour nga front face leen su fekkee ne software engineer la kooku mën naa toog fu nekk si àdduna bi liggéey understand nga soo boole conversation sii nii but man dama am ité si yëfi madrasa bi because daf dee daw suma yaram xale jàng diineem mu war ci mun a amee boppam su demee ba jeexal amul dara benn option lu dul nekk oustaz wala nekk imaami koñ bi ko yor sarax jox la
ku bëgg a wàccee kaamil
woo la te upholding human dignity xaw ma naka laa ko waxee si wolof but bu nga ma si jàppale si
moom sa bopp rek
moom sa bopp mun sa boppa lu coon di wax ne nga waaye am sa soxla nga lamb sa poos faj ko daf laa yokk dignité daf dee jox nit dignité te nit ki jàng si diine warut a tax yow nga laag behind understand nga
waaye yi ngay wax ni dafa am solo lool waaye boo ko xoolee ci réew mi li ngay wax ni lu fi yàggal la waxtaan bi baax na lool waaye ndax dina yomba pour ñu change dynamics li nga xamante ne moo fi yàgga am ngeen ay ambition association ngeen kilifa yi nañ fi ñëw tey ñu waxtaan ñu dégg la ñoo wax waaye taxawaay bi ba gis ne loolu mu am ci réew mi caaxaan defut ko fan ngeen bëgg a jaar yan bunta ngeen nar a ubbi ba gis ne loolu tey dana doon reality du nekk rek xëj na lu ñooy xalaat wala lu ñuy wax kese na nekk ay action yu ñoo teg ba tey ñu gis ne trajectory mu change surtout ci wàllu madrasa bi nga wax
ñun si wàllu association ñu ngi see liggéey si wàllum benn project dafa taxawagut rek waaye tey moo tax ñu select soo xoolee panel bi ñu fa select dañ am importance because loolu doo ko mën a def without Supreme Islamic Council ñu jënda idea bi understand nga so ki nga xamante ne ñoom ñooy push idea bi dañ ko war a jënda first they need to buy into the idea and how needful it is ne lii lu war a am la understand nga ba pare den nga dem si ministry si so da nga gis ne tey am nañ both Ministry of Basic Education ba pare am nañ Ministry of Higher Education which means ne soo ko defutee si time bi nga nekkee ndaw war nga ko mun a def once yu nga àgga si tertiary institution bi regardless of fan nga jàngee ndax si nasaraan bi nga jàng ndax si diine bi nga jàng war nga koo mun a def so ñii lañ boole tey pour ñu waxtaanee ko ñu noonu ñii tamit ñi nga xamante gaay PMO pour ko defee tam ñu boole ko tamit si hiring requirements si parce que soo ko boolee si hiring requirements si da ngaa gis ne dafa forcé ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi si school bi parce que doo bëgg a graduate kenn koo xamante ne su paree du mën a meet hiring requirements gis nga comme lu université bi la wax ne balañ laa jël di nga am sa English ak sa maths léegi nag balañ laa jël war ngaa mun a xam naka ngay browser naka ngay user PowerPoint the basic fundamentals war ngaa mun a amee sa boppa have a digital presence and use the basics of technology as a graduate. It should be a basic requirement.
All right, fantastic. I'm not ma bàyyi la nga daaneel ak moom but bëgg naa after ñu ñëwaat ci challenges yi jafe-jafe because si sànq mu ngi ma doon wax ne ci seeraay internet bi courant bu ñàkk ci dëkk bi kuy kamaj bi ñoom
internet bu seer te ñu bëri tey ci biir réew mi loolu la ñuy wax ne
waaw startups ñi nga xamante ne ñu ngi ci système bi ci tech industry bi ñu ci di am ay jafe-jafe loolu bëgg naa ñu ñëw ci kanam bu fekkee am na foo bëgg a daaneel ak moom
fi may ñëw rek
ñu soog a dellusiwaat incha allah
daanele mooy ci mbootaay bi mooy association bi wax nga ko léegi ne yéen ak ni muy demee yëpp daanaka da ngeen di am ay jafe-jafe pour sax def ndaje yu mel nii boo ci doon ñëw ci wax ak askan wi nga xam ne buñ gisee ndaje yu mel nii dañuy ne sa gars yi am nañ xaalis de gis nga penc mi lañ dem ak yooyu lan mooy jafe-jafe yi nga xam ne da ngeen koy dund ak yéene ak xalaat gis-gis bi tax mbootaay bi mu taxaw fan la bëgg a yóbbu wàllu li nga xam ne moom moo nekk jokkalante ci biir réew mi ba xalaat yi ngay wax yëpp mu nekk realities of dreams yu nga xam ne one day bu nekkul sax yéen ëllëg réew mi dinañ gis ne liñ bëgg a yegg nañ fa ci wàllu li nga xam ne mooy technologie.
ñun nag suñ mébét moo nekk ñu nekk mbootaay bi nga xamante ne ministry especially Ministry of Digital Economy dañ ñu boot ñun ñooy suñ lu ñoo wax suñ parents ñooy suñ kilifa ñun bëgg nañoo bokka si ñu nga xamante ne ñooñu leen boot pour activités suñ bëgg a roll out si écosystème bi ñu mun koo jaarale si ñun mooy suñ mébét parce que da ngaa gis ne dafa bokk si lu ñuy dooleel lu tubaab di wax relevance daf day create relevance su fekkee ne yow si programme yi gouvernement bi si boppam yow yaa nga ci parce que da ngaa gis ne startups yi bari yi nga gis nii ñu bari dundee am access pour dem nga mun a wax si office ministre
lan mooy seen relationship ak ministry boobu because wax nga ko xam naa ne te leer nañu ñuy seetaan nguur ga ak ministre bi yëpp seen association moo jiitu ministry boobu ministry boobu is a newly created ministry bu nga xam ne May 4 2022 la ko président Barrow create te association bi yàgg na fi ay at ci ginnaaw bi mu ñëwee ba tey lan moo nekk relationship bi seen digganteeg yéen mu mel ni kuy ut fu mu fanaan la ak kuy ut ku ko wéttali tëjal bunt bi warut leen woon a boole waaye fan la toll
wax dëgg fa neex yàlla mënuma wax ne bootuñu wax dëgg fa neex yàlla ministre bi mosu ñoo foog a buntaam mu tëjal ñu ko ñu ci gërëm ak directeurs yëpp ñu Amadou Niang at bu nekk yow yaa ngi fi woon depuis si first edition bi amut benn edition bi nga xamante ne nii kenn si seen directeur si ñëwut fi ba pare suñ ñëwee dañoo toog ba bés bi jeex moo wan ne nekkul ne bëgguñ laay boot waaye ñoom tamit da nga gis ne soo fa demee sax kay waxtaan ak ñoom di seen même problème bi lañ ñi am mooy resources parce que pour nga mun a def yenn mébéti foog nga am doole bi resources bi dafa war a am so government dafa war a jël a specific initiative pour mu mun a dooleel technology si Gambia bi warta nekk second thought te mu doon lu fierté si ñun buñ gisee ne ministre bi jox nañ ko kii boppam parce que mi ngi wane ne government bi léegi ñi ngi door understand importance si digital living digital economy si ami réew mi parce que àdduna bi léegi foo dem da ngay gis ne xoola Fortune 500 soo si génnee ñi nga xamante ne they are within the tech sector ñana des
bariwul
soo demee Amérique kana fa jiitu ni Apple yeeg Microsoft yaa fa nekk ak ñoom seen nga ñëw Africa nga dem si dëkk yu mel nii comme Kenya M-Pesa bi soo demee Sénégal ñena fa jiitu Orange Wave ñooñu nga fay am lu tax Gambie mënul nekk si façon place yooyu te ñooñu koom-koom bu ñu indi si réew mënoo koo natt fen nekkul just koom-koom bu ñu indi si réew mi not just forex but in terms of job creation te loolu dafa nekk xëyi ndaw yi dafa war a soxal bépp government because xëyi ndaw yi dafa am bari lum tënka bokk si loolu mooy peace because xale yi suñu amutee xëy amuloo jàng amoo xëy ñu ne idle mind is a devil's playground dina indi fitna sàcc yu bëri yi xeex yu bëri yi protest bi rayante bi loolu yëpp ñàkk xëy moo ko dee waral parce que borom jot mooy xelaat loolu yëpp boo eewoo suba 5 o'clock nga génn sa kër doo ñëw ba 6 soo ñëwee lu bëri dina la lu bëri ngay tal du doon loolu waaw su ministre bi nag wax dëgg fa ne yàlla like I said boot ne ñu bot ñi ngay ñaan ñu gën a fulandi relationship bi rek boole ñu si seen programme si ba pare you know ñeneen ñi nga xamante ne ñi ngi si secteur bi ñi nga xamante ne ni association yeneen IT companies yi ñooñu tam ñu ñëw bokk si bi fi parce que mbooloo bi nuñ gën a baree rek noonu la ñoo gën a amee doole mbooloo mooy doole soo ñu dooleel ñu daal
jërëjëf
foofu am na solo xam naa dinañ ci ñëwaat ci comme ni ko Amadou waxee ci jafe-jafe yi because yaa ngi koy wax léegi nguur gi barki démb rek ñu ngi launch smart farming te loolu ñu ngi wane ne baykat bi mun ngaa toog fële nga amee sa téléphone nga roose bu dee baykat bi dëkk Fuladu fa ma dëkk la bu amul xam-xam ci li ngay wax ni mun ta jëfandikoo jumtuwaay yooyu yëpp day firndeel mandarga yi ngay wax ni
jërëjëf maam thank you very much loolu am na solo bu baax a baax ñu fàttali rek ñuy seetaan yéen a ngi seetaan Eyeafrica TV ñu nekkal leen fii ci Pencema Hall Paradise Suites Hotel fii ci Sénégambia li ko waral comme ni ngeen ko déggee léegi Itag Expo event bi 2023 moom moo ñu fi dajale mu nekk ñetteeli édition bi ñuy amal waxtaan ci bés bi lan moo fi nar a am ak buñ ko tàmbali ak léegi ci jaar-jaar yi ak jafe-jafe yi ñoo dund ak success yi nga xamante ne tamit am na ci yoon bi ñu see waxtaan ak vice président bu association bi di Miss Mbengue Lo te dégg ngeen kàddu yu am solo yi nga xamante ne wax na ko mu doon lu am solo te am na yeneen yi nga xamante ne dinañ ci dellusiwaat incha allah bu ci kaname waaye xam naa ne opening ceremony bi soreetut du yàgg tamit ñu shift li nga xamante mu attention bi ci high table bi ñu mun a seet lan moo fa mun a am ay kaddu yi nga xamante ne kilifa nan lañ ko gaaral jox naa leen itinéraire bi ñi nga xamante ñoom ñoo fi war a gaaral ay kaddu bu ci kanam tuuti da ngeen déggee ci ñoom incha allah. Well, viewers, once again, thank you so very much. Just to remind you, if you are just joining us, we are live from the Pencema Hall at the Paradise Suites Hotel here in Senegambia, where we are here for the third edition of the Itag Expo edition, and of course where we have been discussing some of the issues that we should expect here as far as the event is concerned and the journey since the inception of this program. And we have been talking to the vice president of the association, the Miss Mbengue Lo. She has explored some of the issues that they have been engaged on in as an association, and of course, and also the challenges along the way. By the way, she also highlighted some of the things that they intend to do, and we will of course discuss on the challenges. Especially, you see, it talks about the high internet costs in the country. Energy supply is a challenge, especially for startups in the in the tech industry or technology sector in the Gambia, and many other things also that we want to discuss with her. So we'll do that in a quickly before the official opening ceremony takes place, because we understand we are very much close to the opening ceremony now, and any moment from now we'll see attention to that, to the high table, to allow them to continue the opening ceremony. But Ms. Lo, before we get to that level, as you highlighted earlier on the challenges, especially for startups, young entrepreneurs in the sector, high internet, like I said, Gambia is among the 10 countries in Africa with high cost of internet. That's a challenge, but energy supply or power supply, another challenge. What other challenges? But why do you think these are challenges a country like Gambia? Because many things, we are a small country, not many. So why do you think we keep on, being faced with such challenges?
I think it's two things, right?
Yeah.
One is in terms of the policy, and I believe in policies and regulations. Because, I mean, it means that you have thought about this, you're laying the foundations for growth and these people to thrive. So having the right policies in place is really, really important. But also infrastructure, and infrastructure is expensive, right? So infrastructure.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Yes.
I think we're switching over to the high table now,
Awesome.
and we will hopefully get back to any time. So thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.
Good morning, everyone. We'd like to apologize for the late start, first of all. I'd like to welcome you all to the third annual Itag ICT Expo. Itag is the Information Technology Association of the Gambia, which was formed in 2004 by ICT professionals in the Gambian tech ecosystem, whose aim was to collaborate, develop, and explore the ICT community in the Gambia. We have a lot of tech companies exhibiting here today, and we also have participants from all over the Gambia, just to make sure that nobody is left behind. Our theme for this year's Expo is Digital Transformation in the Gambia, Emerging Technologies and Innovation. I believe the theme is highly relevant, especially in our context, as technological advancements are progressing at an accelerated pace. In the Gambia, we have a mobile phone penetration rate of over 147% and an internet penetration rate of about 70%. So there's a need to create an enabling, conducive environment to foster these innovations and ensure that we're not left behind. I'd like to call on the members of the high table to come on stage for the opening. Thank you. First, I'd like to call on Lamin M. Kamara from the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, the Permanent Secretary. And then Aisha Faye, the Deputy Director of ICTD at the Central Bank of the Gambia. And Babukar Sala, the ITC rep. Babukar. And Biran Dondagilan, the Itag president. Welcome. So we'll now move on to the opening with Biran Dondagilan. Biran is driven and passionate about the effects of ICTs. She's one of the driving forces behind the ICT ecosystem in the Gambia. She's the co-founder and CEO of The Hub, an incubator and accelerator that supports founders throughout their entrepreneurship journey from ideation to growth. Biran is the first female president of the IT Association of the Gambia, Itag, being one of the founding members of the association since 2014. Her tenure as president has seen the successful growth of Itag from a small group of individual members to a paid association with corporate, SMEs, and startup members. She's She continues to make strides in the standardization of ICT training in the Gambia and continues this path to further develop the sector in terms of professional ICT training. Biran led the launch of the first ICT Expo in 2020 and has since led Itag to building its membership, creating visibility for its members, creating clear value proposition for the association. She's a member of Women in STEM, the Gambia, and a Girls in ICT advocate, a leader in the ICT ecosystem. Biran is at the forefront of ICT policy creation, validation, and implementation. As the chair of the Gambia Intergovernance Forum, Bilan led the hosting of the Gambia's first West Africa IGF in 2019. She's an ecosystem enabler with an in-depth knowledge of IT and IT-enabled services sector in the Gambia and around the region. She's an avid reader and runs a foundation supporting widows and orphans in her spare time and is a loving mother of 3. Welcome, Biran.
Teres, I think that was a very long introduction. I think you said all my speech in your intro. Good morning, everyone. No, we're not having this. Good morning, everyone. Fantastic. There's coffee over there in case you need to wake up, right, Malik? Excellent. All right. Thank you all for coming, and thank you all for joining us on our annual Itag ICT Expo. First, I'd like to recognize my high table members who are trying to shy away from being on the high table. I'll start with Aisha from the Central Bank. Aisha, thanks for coming and honoring our invitation. Lamin, thanks for allowing me to bug you the past 6 months around for the Expo. And Babakar, thank you for showing up. I know you were on leave, so thanks for making the time. And I think maybe I'll connect Babakar's coming to really how the Expo was born. And this was with support from the International Trade Center in 2020. And since then, we're building up on what we started in 2020, and I'm sure you will not regret having kickstarted this event in the first place. So thank you for coming, and thank you for always being there to support. So my name is Birandon Degelen. I'm the president of the IT Association. And today I stand before you to launch the 3rd edition of the Expo. And this year, we did something a little bit different. Menge touched on it in her interview. We wanted to really include grassroots levels in terms of the ecosystem by bringing in students. Because as you know, and I know, students are the future. They're the ones we need to nurture for tomorrow. And we felt that it was important to really not only look at the Greater Banjul, where most of us are usually very guilty of doing and not necessarily stretching our hands out to the provinces. And this year, we're happy to say we have almost, I would say, 40 to 50 students with us from across the 6 regions of Gambia. And for me, that's really critical because at the Expo, we discuss very pertinent things. We discuss very important topics. And it's important that these voices are heard. And not only the voices being heard, but also they need to understand what's at stake, what our challenges are, and how we intend to overcome those challenges. So speaking of challenges, setting up an event like this is always mentally challenging, physically challenging, and all sorts of challenging. But I think really we wouldn't have been able to pull something like this off without an amazing team. My VP, Menge, I don't want to say hats off, maybe I'll say scarves off to you. And to my secretary, Madeleine Ileleji, thank you. We have a treasurer who's always keeping us on our toes in terms of spending money, Adama. She's not in town, unfortunately. We have Ismaila Jawara, who's our youth rep. And then we have 2 very amazing ladies. And I need them to stand up. I don't know if they're in the hall. Binta Sane. Binta Sane, please put your hand up. I need people to see you and recognize the amazing work you've done. She's all the way over there. Binta and Aji Sabel, you guys are just amazing. Thank you for doing amazing work and making sure this was pulled off and that it's a success. Now, going down to just some of the things that I wanted to talk about in terms of the event. As I said earlier, the event started 3 years ago. We're in our 3rd edition. But choosing the theme, the reason we chose the theme was because emerging technologies is here, it's now, and it's also the future. I mean, we see all kinds of technologies and products and services being built. Menge touched on machine learning. I'm sure everybody knows about AI, artificial intelligence, and the amazing stuff it's doing. I think a couple of days ago, I saw that Facebook launched the Ray-Ban glasses with the AI touch on it, where when you wear the glasses and look at certain buildings or certain things, it actually breaks it down for you and tells you where you are and what it is you're looking at. So AI has really gone beyond our wildest imaginations and our dreams. It's amazing. If you are studying technology, if you are working in technology, it's exciting. If you are in regulation, it's scary. So if you are the ministry or you are the central bank and you have all these technologies that you're currently chasing, always constantly chasing to try to regulate, it can be a nightmare. And I think that's why some of the workshops we set up today are quite important. So it'll be interesting to see the viewpoint of the regulators, and also interesting to see what you guys have to say about how open do you want the platforms to be? How much data do you want to share? Who do you want to have that data? What should they do with that data? Or what should they be allowed to do with that data? And I think a lot of that can be touched on by our policymakers, also by ourselves, because we are all users of the internet, and it's important that we also have a say in the data that we keep churning out, how it's being used. If I'm filling out a form at the Itag ICT Expo, am I sure that Biran is not going to use my data and sell it to Mark Zuckerberg tomorrow? I don't know. So these are the kind of things we really all need to be aware of, and we need to be alert, and each of us needs to be our own cybersecurity expert, so to speak. We need to know how to protect ourselves online and how to safely use these platforms in our everyday lives. Some of the challenges that we have in terms of of our ecosystem players, I know everybody is going to talk about the payment gateway. We're going to make noise about why we can't use cards, and why this and why that. And these are challenges that are happening not only in Gambia but also around the region. But it is good to keep our policymakers and our partners in the public sector to account and ask them, how far have we gone with this? Where are we with this? But most importantly, how can we also participate in the process? It's always good to ask questions. It's always good to criticize constructively, but it's also always good to bring solutions to the table as users of these platforms, as our fellow entrepreneurs, as companies that are also building products to support some of these institutions. So, interesting, the workshops we have one on embedding technology in education. I'm excited about that. We have the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education on that panel, and the Ministry of Higher Education. We have the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council on that panel, which is going to be bringing in the madrasas and the Arabic schooling perspective, which I'm really looking forward to the discussions on how that's going to pan out. The Expo, why did we really feel that it was important? We had a lot of people coming to us and telling us, where do I get someone that can develop a website for me? Where can I get someone to build an app for me? Where can I get someone to do some graphics design for me? And we felt that it was important to bring those community members, those how would I call them, those people who are in need of these services with the people who are providing these services. And what best way to do it than a fun space where we're able to have discussions, where we're able to have open interactions, network, but also allow companies to showcase what they have to offer in terms of products and services. And that's why the Expo is here. And this is not something that's new, it's not novel, this has been done all around the world. And we're happy that we're having it here in Gambia, and we're excited that you guys are here today to share this with us. We're looking forward to the workshops, we're looking forward to the discussions. I'm especially looking forward to the speeches of the ministry and the central bank, because they always have va-va-vooms and all kinds of, should I say, announcements in their speeches on these events. So it's always exciting to listen to what they have to say and what they have up their sleeves. So I'll give you a quick rundown of today. We're going to have the launching. We will have the coffee break, and then we'll break out into the workshops. You'll be free to do your exhibition walk around. But we'll also have an award ceremony towards the afternoon, where we will be recognizing various categories in the tech ecosystem. I'm quite excited about that, what the award committee has come up with, and I'm looking forward to celebrating the awardees with you. We thank you for coming. We thank you for your continuous support. We encourage you to check out the Itag booth and check out our different membership structures, students, companies, startups. Wherever you fit in, we have the package for you. I'm selling now, so you guys have to bear with me. But yes, please join us at the booth and find out what we're planning for the coming months and for next year, and what we're doing in the ecosystem. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for coming, and we look forward to amazing discussions ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Biran. So next we'd like to call on Ms. Aisha Faye, the Deputy Director of ICTD at the Central Bank of the Gambia. Aisha started off as an Oracle DBA in Lloyd's TSD UK and progressed into IT Project Manager overseeing the data integration project during the Lloyd's acquisition of Halifax Bank of Scotland. She joined the Central Bank of the Gambia as the Principal Systems Analyst and actively participated in the West African Monetary Zone Payment System implementation back in 2012. She's currently the Director of ICT for D and is here to represent the Governor of the Central Bank. Welcome, Aisha.
Thank you very much, Madam MC. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. On behalf of the Governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia, Honorable Boasaidi, who I'm here to represent, quote, allow me to express my deepest gratitude to the Information Technology Association of the Gambia for hosting the 3rd Annual ICT Expo 2023 and inviting me as the keynote speaker on the exciting theme of digital transformation in the Gambia, emerging technologies and innovation. Itag deserves to be commended for bringing together regulators, students, and I've heard we've got student representation from upcountry, which is absolutely amazing, academic institutions, private sector players, and young entrepreneurs to discuss challenges and opportunities in digital transformations and emerging technologies. Looking around this room today makes me very proud to know that young Gambian techies are at work. While no one can predict the future with certainty, we know one thing and one thing for sure. Digital transformation is here, and it is here to stay. It has impacted every aspect of our personal and professional lives. In the financial sector, digital transformation has thrown up numerous questions, even leading some to ask whether banks or central banks will operate as we know them today in the very near future. For instance, some observers have already declared that the days of government-issued currencies are numbered in certain parts of the world. Fintech companies continue to grow and provide innovative solutions in the form of DFS. According to access to affordable digital financial services is critical for poverty alleviation and economic growth. Digital financial services has increasingly become the leading driver for financial inclusion for the unbanked around the world, particularly in the developing countries. Developed nations with secured, more robust financial systems have higher economic growth and larger reduction in poverty and income inequality. For emerging countries like the Gambia, access to and use of basic digital financial services can improve income, increase resilience, and therefore improve quality of lives, particularly for vulnerable groups, such as women, youth, physically displaced, and the disabled. Ladies and gentlemen, the Central Bank of the Gambia, as the custodian of the financial system, continues to play a vital role in the Gambia's digital transformation journey, in the creation of financial systems that promote inclusive economic growth for the Gambia. In collaboration with national stakeholders and partnership with key development partners, including the United Nations Capital Development Fund, UNCDF, Alliance for Financial Inclusion, AFI, World Bank, IMF, amongst others, the bank spearheaded the development of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy 2021 to 2025 as a roadmap for increasing financial inclusion to 70% by 2025. The strategy focuses on the use of emerging technological innovation in the fintech industry to increase access to finance for the most vulnerable, including women and youth, and consciously aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the economic and financial development objectives of the Central Bank of the Gambia. A key strategic pillar in the NFIS is the development of an enabling financial infrastructure with digital financial services as the key enabler. Priority activities under this pillar include the development of a robust digital payment system and the strengthening of the Gambia National Switch known as GamSwitch, which serves as the national digital finance platform and heightens interoperability of service providers, thus making financial intermediation much easier, less time constraining, and mostly available in real time. Additionally, the launching of the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, commonly known as PAPS, by the Central Bank of the Gambia was another giant milestone in creating a cross-border financial market infrastructure to support payment arrangements for the purpose of expanding the international trade of African states and to facilitate economic and financial integration in Africa. PAPS was implemented in 2021 and brings with it a leading-edge technology connecting African banks, payment service providers, and other financial market intermediaries, enabling instant and secure payments between African countries. It is the solution for retail and wholesale digital cross-border payments. The central bank, in its oversight function, licenses and regulates the foreign exchange bureaus and fintechs. Traditionally, remittance inflows in the Gambia were dominated by informal channels, such as cash transfers carried by friends or family traveling between countries. However, it is observed that fintech innovative solutions have transformed the remittance landscape by enabling faster, affordable, and more secure payment platforms. A welcomed revolution in the Gambia's remittance sector is the increasing adoption of mobile money or wallets. This has gained popularity due to the widespread penetration of smartphones and internet connectivity. Money transfer companies now offer competitive exchange rates and low transfer fees to send money to the Gambia. They have succeeded in simplifying the remittance process by allowing users to send money with just a few clicks on their smartphones. In fact, some fintech companies implement digital platforms that bundle remittances with other financial services such as bill payments and savings accounts. This integrated approach aims to enhance financial inclusion and empower individuals to effectively manage their finances. Given the dynamism in the remittance industry, it would be fair to state that the Gambia's remittance sector is undergoing a transformation driven by fintech innovation. Mobile money, digital remittance platforms, blockchain technology, and remittance-focused startups are reshaping Forex transactions. Through these emerging trends and supportive government policies, the Gambia is poised to unlock full potential of its remittance market, benefiting both senders and recipients alike. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in keeping up with the fast pace of digitalization, the Central Bank of the Gambia has adopted new fintech solutions to mitigate the risks associated with the myriad of innovative solutions offered by fintech companies through fintech regulatory sandbox approach, which enables regulation without discouraging innovation. The fintech regulatory sandbox approach enables financial institutions and fintech players to experiment with innovative financial products or services in a live environment, but within a well-defined space and duration. The Central Bank of the Gambia will uptake its role in the implementation of an enabling regulatory environment that is future-proof, manages risks, and puts the consumer at the heart of a new digital economy. This will not only accelerate the growth of fair digital finance, but will create mechanisms in dealing collectively with risks that digital financial services pose to consumers and the financial system at large. With the increase in digital financial products during the COVID-19 era came a stark increase in cybersecurity attacks on financial institutions, and our side of the world was no different. The Central Bank of the Gambia recently rolled out the cybersecurity guidelines for financial institutions to strengthen the regulatory framework to ensure that financial systems operate in a safe and secure environment, as well as establish an industry-wide coordinated approach towards responding to cyber attacks. In addition to this, the central bank continues to invest heavily in ICT infrastructure to enhance connectivity and security. It has rolled out a resilient cybersecurity program which focuses on cybersecurity monitoring and incident response. Ladies and gentlemen, on a final note, digital transformation is an inevitable necessity and a practice reality, a culture that takes root, an appropriate structure, a flexible response to emergency, challenges and needs, and a means used to achieve economic and social development to serve the Gambia and its citizens. We must join hands and cooperate to achieve this through awareness, capacity building, and improved technical infrastructure, dynamic regulatory environment, and investment in digital and financial literacy for our rural population. I will laud the Itag for creating the forum to discuss and promote the Gambia tech industry and provide a platform for visibility of products and services and create linkages between companies and their target clientele. Be rest assured of the central bank's full commitment in supporting the rollout of secured and innovative digital financial products and services that are tailor-made to address the Gambian consumer challenges and needs, as well as enhance financial inclusion. The ever-expanding digital ecosystem has a critical role to play in advancing development goals at all levels, and the critical role of associations like Itag and its partners cannot be overstated. Unquote. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Aisha. We'll now have the official opening remarks from the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Lamin Camara. Lamin has been serving as the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy since June 2022, where he also holds a key role as the Chairman of the ACE Management Committee, overseeing strategic direction and regulatory matters for the ACE system across multiple countries. Previously, he also served as Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure from April 2014 to December 2017, where he was responsible for ICT policy, project implementation, and policy advisory. His extensive career in the ministry includes roles such as Deputy Director of ICT and Principal ICT Officer, reflecting over 2 decades of dedication to the ICT field and ecosystem. Welcome, Lamin.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Good morning to you all. Unfortunately, my minister is not in town, so I'm stepping in to do the opening on his behalf. First of all, I want to recognize the high table and the gentleman, the president of Itag, the representative of the governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia, Mr. Babukar, whom have been introduced to us as one of the pioneers of this Expo. The CEO Insys Global, distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed with great pleasure and delight to be associated with the 3rd Expo organized by Itag. This is a laudable initiative that showcases our ICT companies, startups, innovators, products, and services. I am reliably informed that it will be in the form of exhibitions, workshops, pitches, and B2B events, etc. And having an award ceremony embedded to encourage players in the ICT landscape is very positive. We as government have the responsibility to provide the enabling environment and provide a common infrastructure to facilitate communication, encourage businesses to flourish, and support socio-economic development. To this end, our ministry has 5 priorities to support our digital transformation process. These are: 1, to have a second submarine cable that would provide the necessary capacity and redundancy for the existing ACE cable. 2, to create a payment gateway system that would transform to a national switching. That will be the transformation of GAMSwitch to a national switching company that will provide switching services for each and every one who wants to connect their services to the national switch. 3, we have the intention to put in place a Tier 4 data center to not only provide hosting services to companies in the Gambia, but to compete at the global stage. 4, we have the intention to also provide a digital ID system. Here I want to clarify, when we say digital ID, it's not talking about the ID card or the passport or what. The digital ID encompasses all those, your birth certificate details, your bank details, your mobile numbers, basically everything about you that would be put into a single number that is dedicated to you. Because I asked Lamin Camara, we have many Lamin Camaras, and maybe there's a Lamin Camara that has the same birthday and month of with me. So how would you know it's this Lamin Camara? So our biometric, everything will be embedded in that digital ID, and you have your single unified number that would distinguish you from anybody. So we are not even interested in you as a person, we are interested in that number once it is created. So just to create, and this is what we are trying to put in place, and we need the support of all of you, and Itag will be very paramount in achieving this. The 5th is the e-government services, to provide the services that citizens will require online at the touch of a button, sitting in your room, accessing. We've seen some we started having some, which is thanks to the private sector, the fintechs, where we can sit at home, buy our cash power without going anywhere. It is one form of the services that can be provided to you. But we want to move away from that. The passport forms, you go to EcoBank, you buy. You don't have to go to EcoBank. You can sit in your room, get that form online, fill it, pay for what you have to pay, and send it. So this is the kind of Gambia, the kind of digital transformation we are talking about. And all this will be supported by robust policies, legal and regulatory frameworks. And of course, we know security is very important. So cybersecurity will be the fortress of these initiatives to instill trust and confidence in the use of ICT platforms and services. Some of the progress made by MOGDI are the cloud policy, the fiber protection policy, digital addressing policy, and a digital master plan. These are all, they have all been put in place since the establishment of the ministry. I heard people saying that Itag is older than the ministry. Yes, the Ministry of Digital Economy, but the Ministry of Communication has been here for over 20 years. We are working on a startup policy and an act to support the development of startups and encourage innovation, especially in the fintechs. We already have the new IC bill, a cybercrime bill, and data protection and privacy bill, which has been approved by Cabinet and is expected to be considered by the National Assembly before the end of 2023. Now, when we talk about all this, providing e-government services, providing the platforms, driving digital transformation, that should be inclusive. We cannot leave anybody behind. So in that, digital literacy is very important for inclusion of our vulnerable countrymen. This is a key policy objective of MOGDI, and we take into consideration our brothers and sisters that are also literate in Arabic. I always mention to people when they say the literacy level in a country, some always ascribe it to being educated in English. No, in Arabic, even in our local languages, as long as it's written and spoken and you get educated through it, it could be literacy. It's unfortunate that our local languages haven't gone to that extent, but there are countries where, in India, there are over 20 local languages that people read and write. So they consider us literate as long as you can read or write any of those local languages. But in our case, the English and the Arabic we know, most people, that's what they read and write. So I think when we talk about literacy, we should not forget about those educated in Arabic. They're also literate. Yes, we want digital transformation, but there are enabling environment. I mentioned about policy, legal, and regulatory. The infrastructure, and I've mentioned what we are doing in the communication part. But all this is supported by energy, something that energizes it. We know we are challenged with energy as we speak, and being a former permanent secretary of the Ministry of Petroleum and Energy, I think I'll be able to give you some insight what plans or projects are in place to also see how we address our constraints when it comes to energy. And I'm sure some of you have seen some of the developments across the roadsides. The new poles that are coming up is to replace the old transmission and distribution system of this country. But without replacing that, whatever investment you do will be meaningless, because those systems cannot carry the amount of energy we need now to be able to drive ICT, to be able to do the things we want to do. And this is why government, through the support of Dono, has provided a 225 kV line, which came connected to the OMVG line that came from Dakar, what is connecting from Soma to Brikama and to Jabang, and then to Kotu. We believe if these infrastructures are completed, they'll be able to carry it. Because as we speak now, the capacity we are getting from even Senegal, we cannot evacuate all because of the constraint of the infrastructure to bring it all the way here. But with these other infrastructure developments, you'll be able to carry as much capacity as you want into the country. So these are some of the constraints. Even where the capacity at the car power in Banjul, you cannot, if you increase it now, you cannot evacuate it because the infrastructure from Banjul bringing it down here is already compromised. So, but I do know there is a policy objective to electrify the whole country by 2025, and there has been a master plan and a roadmap, and government is working through that roadmap. If you go up country, there are a lot of electricity projects going on implemented. I think 2 months ago, the president inaugurated one at Diabugu Lamenkoto one, and there are others going on. So just to encourage our innovators, our players, businesses that, yes, it's very difficult at this time, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully, according to the policy objective of government, by 2025, we'll get universal access, but at the same time, reliable energy services, and which renewable energy will be very instrumental, because believe that there is a 25 megawatt renewable energy solar project in Jambur, which is expected to be completed by the end of this year. And there's another 50 megawatt that is coming on. So I think I will do justice to the Energy Ministry or NAMEC having this information to share, since I have this platform to share with you, so that you know the things they are doing, and just a little bit of patience, you will get there. MOCD will continue to support Itag to achieve its objectives. Therefore, we are calling on more collaboration and cooperation to achieve our common objectives. Because when government talk about development, we say private sector led. Private sector led, I think it has to be put into perspective in the sense that we as government, we are just facilitators. We create an enabling environment so that the private sector would have the space to innovate and also to prosper in the business that they do. But I think to do that also, we need to know what are the concerns of the private sector. We need to know what are your challenges, which you will share, and how you think we can put in policies or measures that can help you achieve your objectives. And I think we've started that when we talk about the fintechs or the establishment of the payment gateway, we have a committee that has been created by the president to ensure we achieve the setting up of this payment gateway, and also provide a policy for the fintechs to thrive in this country. And we are on that, and I think we've invited Itag to be part with some fintech companies, to start the discussion, on the kind of policy we need to develop to really support their growth in the country. And that work is in progress, and we encourage anybody who has ideas. Our doors are open. I mean, you can write to us and tell us what are your ideas to move the tech sector forward. We are open to that. I mean, in the West, when you develop policies, anybody can participate, as long as you are a citizen of the country. Because when I tell you, I'm privileged to be in that position as a permanent secretary, but we are working for you as the citizens. We are just representing you. Not all of us can be in that office. It's just some of us who can be there, and we are privileged, and that's our job. So whoever has an idea that you think can enhance what we are doing for the progress of the nation, it's welcome. You can write me, put your suggestions, and we'll see how we work together to achieve our objectives. On that note, I have the singular honor to declare the Expo open. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lamin. I'd like us all to go outside for a group photo, and then we'll go upstairs for breakfast. So if you can all... Yeah, so the high table will take a picture first, and then we'll join them outside for a group photo, and then we'll have breakfast upstairs.
Sorry, before you move, I think I saw Honorable Member of the National Assembly here, which we need to recognize. Mr. Biro is the first NPP National Assembly member. Recognize his presence. Thank you. And I think, thank you very much.
You should join us for the group picture.
Yes,
Oh, you took me down here, or is it outside? I went out, I looked for them.
I'm high on life, wanna meditate. So allow me, make I enjoy life. Cause problem not the finish, oh. Every day different wahala. Problem not the finish, oh. I just wanna party every day. Pretty girl, come wine pon the cocky. 10 toes, one touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, pass me the touch it. Pretty girl, come wine pon the cocky. 10 toes, one girl, make it touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. Shut up and bend over. Let your back do the talking over.